In 2+ decades on the court, you have built a reputation for integrity and for setting aside partisan interests and following the law. The job to which you have been appointed is a very different job. And as I look back over the 8 years of the Obama-Biden Justice Department, in my view, the most problematic aspect of that tenure was that the Department of Justice was politicized and weaponized in a way that was directly contrary to over a century of tradition of the Department of Justice of being apolitical and not a partisan tool to target your opponents. So it is very much my hope, if you're confirmed as Attorney General, that you will bring that reputation for integrity to the Department of Justice and demonstrate a willingness to stand up for what will be inevitable political pressure to once again politicize the Department of Justice and use it as a tool to attack the political opponents of the current administration.
But I can assure you I do not regard myself as anything other than the lawyer for the people of the United States. And I am not the president's lawyer. I am the United States lawyer. And I will do everything in my power, which I believe is considerable, to fend off any effort by anyone to make prosecutions or investigations partisan or political in any way. My job is to protect the Department of Justice and its employees in going about their job and doing the right thing according to the facts and the law.
Will you commit to this committee that under your leadership, the Department of Justice will not target the political opponents of this administration, and there will be real scrutiny? What that report outlines, among other things, is weaponizing Oppo research from the Hillary Clinton campaign and launching a criminal investigation based on that. Will you commit that that conduct will not be acceptable under any Department of Justice you're leading?
So absolutely, Senator, but without trying to comment specifically on that matter, it's totally inappropriate for the department to target any individual because of their politics or their position in a campaign. The only basis for targeting has to be evidence of the risk of foreign intelligence problem or of a criminal problem. And that is a nonpartisan issue. That is a question of objective facts and law, and it can never be an effort to help one party or another party. In investigations and prosecutions, there is no party. The department is an independent, nonpartisan actor, and that's my job to ensure that that's the case.
So Ted Cruz is looking for an example of a Justice Department that's been politicized and weaponized, and the first place he turns is the Obama administration? I don't know if Ted Cruz is still on that Cancun vacation mentally, but this is not a man who is thinking straight. So that we're clear, if you're looking for a DOJ that was politicized and weaponized, you really don't have to look further than the one that we had 4 weeks ago. It was Bill Barr's Department of Justice that opted to intervene to defend Trump in a defamation lawsuit brought by E. Jean Carroll, who accused him of raping her in the 90s. Does that sound like something our tax dollars should pay for? It was Bill Barr who helped block the release of Trump's tax returns, which were being sought to discover whether he had conflicts of interest in office. And yet somehow, the position of the nation's top lawyer was that we shouldn't have that information. Barr's DOJ threw out charges against Michael Flynn even after he'd pleaded guilty. The guy said he did the crime, and yet the agency tasked with following the law decided that this political ally of Donald Trump wouldn't be held accountable for breaking the law, even after he admitted to it. Barr even went on an international tour asking Italian and British officials to discredit the Mueller report solely because it painted Donald Trump in a bad light. We could go on all day, but Bill Barr's entire career at the helm of the DOJ was spent doing Trump's personal bidding, often in flagrant and obvious opposition to the law itself. And when he wasn't helping criminals evade accountability and wielding the power of the federal government to act as Trump's personal law firm, he would even misrepresent the work of other government officials. Here's Bill Barr deliberately and flagrantly misrepresenting the contents of the Mueller report just before it was released in an effort to sway media coverage at the time.
So that's the bottom line. After nearly 2 years of investigation, thousands of subpoenas, hundreds of warrants, and witness interviews, the special counsel confirmed that the Russian government sponsored efforts to illegally interfere with the 2016 presidential election, but did not find that the Trump campaign or other Americans colluded in those efforts.
Only this claim was so glaringly false that a federal judge appointed by George W. Bush even criticized Barr, saying that he put out a distorted and misleading account of the Mueller report's findings. He even said that the differences between the report and Barr's summary, quote, caused the court to seriously question whether Attorney General Barr made a calculated attempt to influence public discourse about the Mueller report in favor of President Trump, despite certain findings in the redacted version of the Mueller report to the contrary. In fact, Robert Mueller himself was forced to come out and state that if Trump didn't commit a crime, the report would have said so, and clarify that the reason Trump wasn't charged was because the special counsel's office was under the purview of the DOJ, and DOJ guidance says that a sitting president can't be indicted.
And as set forth in the report after that investigation, if we had had confidence that the president clearly did not commit a crime, we would have said so. We did not, however, make a determination as to whether the president did commit a crime. The introduction to the Volume 2 of our report explains that decision. It explains that under long-standing department policy, a president cannot be charged with a federal crime while he is in office. That is unconstitutional. Even if the charge is kept under seal and hidden from public view, that too is prohibited. The special counsel's office is part of the Department of Justice, and by regulation, it was bound by that department policy. Charging the president with a crime was therefore not an option we could consider.
So for Ted Cruz to claim that it was the Obama DOJ that was politicized is a testament to how partisan he himself is. To sit there and grandstand to Merrick Garland, who himself was the victim of Republican partisan hackery, and tell him that he shouldn't conduct himself not like Trump's DOJ, but Obama's DOJ, tells you everything you need to know about how seriously you should take Ted Cruz. The fact is that Republicans, and especially Ted Cruz, have no leg to stand on when it comes to patronizing others about how to conduct themselves. Ted Cruz validated an insurrection at the US Capitol, all in an effort to pander to Trump voters and bolster his own eventual run for president. He also watched as his own state contended with one of the worst crises in our lifetimes, and he decided to slither away, not just to Cancun, but the Ritz-Carlton in Cancun. He then blamed his daughters, and then he implied that he always intended to come back the next day, even though his plane ticket was slated for the end of the weekend. Ted Cruz's entire career is partisan hackery and utter disdain, not only for the rule of law, but the very people who elected him to office. If he wants to judge anyone's actions for being improper, he might want to find a mirror. While you're here, please check out my podcast, No Lie with Brian Tyler Cohen. I take a deep dive into the top stories of the week, and I also interview major players in the world of politics, like Kamala Harris, Adam Schiff, Nancy Pelosi, Pete Buttigieg, Katie Porter, Al Franken, Cory Booker, Jamie Harrison, Mary Trump, and many more. Again, that's No Lie with Brian Tyler Cohen, available anywhere you listen to podcasts.